Hey, welcome back to the Hub channel. My name is Brandon Burton, and we are doing the new high probability short-term live trading here with Mike Wade today. Obviously, we're going to have a great show, and a lot is going on in the market. We're going to be going over the market with what the Fed is doing. Obviously, the Dow is hitting new all-time highs, so we're going to have to get Mike's take on that and see what's happening there. We're going to go over the last show's trade, a giveaway, and then we're going to give a current live trade. We have so much to do. Let's go ahead and bring Mike in here. As you guys know, Mike is the founder of Michael Wade Trade Coaching. He is one of those guys who is quick to make profit with his trades just because he increases the probability of those trades based on the technical indicators and on the charts and other things. But he also is very aware of what's going on in the market. Mike, have you seen what's happening right now? I mean, you see the Dow, obviously. You see what's going on. You saw the Fed yesterday, what they came out and said. They're obviously going to be cutting rates going into the next year. All good news for the market. The market loved it and reacted in a way that's very positive. What are your thoughts right now on what's going on?
Yeah, well, we're going up.
Yeah.
Brent, The Wizard of Oz, the movie where Dorothy throws the water on the Wicked Witch of the West and she melts.
Oh yeah.
And all the people are like, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. That's what happened yesterday. I mean, the markets, nobody was expecting. We were thinking maybe at the end of the year, maybe 2 rate cuts. And the Fed said inflation is cooling off, and we were feeling confident about next year, lowering rates 3 times, not 1, not 2, but 3. I was surprised to hear that. And, so when I see news like that, now I got to say this, Brandon, I don't know how you are, but I prefer the markets to be in a bearish posture. I know that's sacrilege, but as an options trader, especially with the sniper approach, I love it when there's bad news. I love it when markets are crashing. I like it when stocks have bad news and they crash because those stocks are less likely to rise. Now, that said, bullish markets like this, I've switched my posture from a bear or a hope the market's bearish to we're bullish and let's ride. Let's ride this ride. And, we can go right to a chart here and see it in the charts. Okay, this is a chart of the diamonds. I'm using Hub's charting package. It's a really cool charting package I like. And look here, that point there, this is the diamonds. It's the ETF that tracks the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 30 industrial stocks in the U.S. economy. All right, so right there, all-time high territory on the Dow. All right, and yesterday, ding dong, the witch is dead. The market started partying, and the Dow set an all-time high. And then the question I have right now is where are the markets going pre-market? And I go to CNBC. You can get futures pricing anywhere, but this is CNBC's got a good one here. You can see the Dow futures are up even higher, almost half a percentage point. So the Dow is slated to open higher than it did yesterday. Yet another all-time high. And then when you go to the other indices, the SPYs, as the SPYs are approaching an all-time high that was in about the same time frame. Let's call it just over 475. I don't know if you can see more. Let me zoom out a little bit more. So this point right here, all-time high territory. Let me, if I can get my lines to work here. There we go. All-time high territory is right there, and we're almost there. So that the SPYs, the S&P 500 ETF, is also approaching all-time high territory. The Qs, the NASDAQ, these are tech companies, same story. So the NASDAQ is that's all-time high territory right there. We're almost there on the NASDAQ. We'll probably breach that soon. So Brandon, I mean, you don't need to be an expert to look at this market and have a bullish prognosis.
Yeah, I've seen all this too, and I've seen all the news that's coming out and all the people talking about this. And yeah, things I thought were going to roll over a week ago, and when the Fed came out, it just totally did kind of a 180. This is good for the housing market. This is good for the market, obviously, retail, and every sector there is. So obviously all this going on, I think that we have a lot to look forward to into the next year. And this just isn't in the regular stock market, but crypto has a lot of good news coming out too. And so a lot of people are releasing positive news on the way that the SEC is going to interact with crypto and that kind of stuff. So the crypto market is approaching all-time highs for 2023 as well. So everything's
Yes.
kind of culminating at the same time. So it's kind of interesting to see. And like you, I mean, I understand definitely being in that bear prognosis. I want to be trading a bear market because sometimes it's easier and more volatile, and you can make money in the options market a little bit easier. So I get where
Yeah.
you're coming from as well. So why don't we go over? I mean, let's just cover, since we're here, last week's trade. Man,
Yeah.
how did you do?
Well, let's take a look. This is the real deal. This is a live trading show, and we
Okay.
placed this trade last week, right? And
Yeah,
Chewy
this is
came
the
out.
Chewy trade. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chewy's came out with really bad earnings and lowered their future guidance, and the stock tanked. And we got in. The stock tanked. We got in right at the low of the day, and then analysts came in, lowered the price target on Chewy, and maintained strong bullish ratings, and the stock bounced. This happens. Fishing is not called catching, and trading is not called winning. This system over time has a 90% win rate, and these are live trades that I've done since July of last year with another group I have, a sniper trading group I lead, and we're operating at about 90% wins and over 10% return with losers considered. 1 out of 10 are typically losers, and this one ended up being a loser. And so I'm saying that flat. Get used to losing. This is one of our, if the history continues, this will be one loser out of 10 if the data continues to come to fruition. And with many, many months of back testing, I have every reason to suspect that we're going to be in good shape. So the most important thing about trading is knowing when to take a loss. Brandon, you've traded before. Is it easy to take a loss psychologically?
It hurts your soul, but it definitely tempers you.
Yeah. Well, we got to, Brandon and I have been trading for a while, and you get to a point where you don't let it impact you so much. It's part of the game. You will take a loss, and very, very infrequently with this system. And so the exit rules are, if the stock closes above our line in the sand on this stock was 20, which corresponds to here. And the rule is simple. If the stock goes sideways or down, we're going to make money on this trade. If it breaches the 20 strike, our line in the sand, this is all in the recording from last week, then we just exit. You have your little soul crushing experience, get past it, take it off, go get another one. Rock and fire. Risk management is the name of this game. Every single strategy out there, you will lose from time to time, and you must take a loss. All right. So I'm not worried at all, but this is what happened. I'll go this is on 12/7 the next day. Chewy's was approaching the break even. Now, when you're trading, you're looking at a trade. We're down at this point. We're losing money in the trade. We were down 22% after the next day. And, if you were panicking, you might exit sooner, and then the stock could move your way. So it's critical that you really stand in rules that tell you what to do when you're having an emotional experience. Greed and fear are the two that we experience as humans. So like a machine, the next day, on 2 days later after the upgrades, essentially the stock, let me turn off the closing legs. I close this out because I follow rules, and the stock closed above 20, and we took this trade off, and we lost about 40% on this trade. Now that's about what you're going to lose on these, but when you take a look at our overall performance so far, since we started, we've done 4 of these shows up to this point, Brandon, and 75% are winners, 1 loser. We're still positive to the tune of 5.44% with an average hold time of 3 days. All right. I'm actually glad, Brandon, that we have a loser in the beginning, because typically I get strings of winners, and then, after 10, I might get a loser. And I want to put this out there now, because if you want to embrace this strategy, you have got to be cold and calculating about taking a loss. And we did that, and we're still up. And I'm anticipating a nice string of winners coming, because that's what history tells me, Brandon.
Well, and I mean, I think it's good that you point out. I mean, we do have a loser once in a while, but it's like you cannot go into this thinking you're going to win 100% of the time. And you just
Right.
need to know what you're going to do when you have that loss. You need to calculate, just like you said, it's calculated. That loss is calculated, and you're going to have to factor that into your trading process. And this is just how we do it. And sometimes this happens. But like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I mean, I think you have way more winners than you have losers, and that's just the nature of the game. So, speaking of
Right.
which, we have the market opening here in about 3 minutes. Why don't you set
Yeah.
us up with the trade that you think you're putting on today while you're putting that trade on, and then let's just go ahead and activate that thing and see where we're at, because that's
Let's
why
do
we're
it.
here.
You ever heard of Moderna?
You know
I
what?
know
I
you.
have not. I have not. Is that a new company that hasn't been in the news at all in the last 3 years? That's a new one. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, they have a drug that's not a COVID drug, and we have a little blurb on this, I think, but they had some good news with one of their drugs, and pre-market the stock is up. I'm going to use these tools and show you what's happening here. I find these in the morning. I can go to CNBC and find them. I can go to a website called barchart.com, which gives you lists of these companies that are gapping. So there's a lot of places to find them. Every week I'll be finding them for you, of course. But so Moderna pre-market is trading right up here. Now I can see pre-market in the hub charting package let's take this down to a minute bar. All right. So this was post-market. So the dark shaded area is post-market, and then pre-market. The news came out pre-market, and Moderna's all the way up here to 88. Where was it yesterday? Well, yesterday it was at 79. That's a very healthy bullish run. The stock's, let's call it 88 and a half, back to a day chart. And I can tell you now that the stock is trading right about here. Okay, so the question is, and the way we do this is I call it a line in the sand. And this line in the sand I'm drawing is right at 80. Let's zoom in a little bit. So right at 80. And what that line in the sand is telling me is, with the stock trading up here around 88 or so, do I feel like Moderna has any chance in the next week or 2 weeks to come back down below this line in the sand? So basically, I want to put on a trade that makes money anywhere above 80. Now, what's going to stop it from dropping to 80 would be 85 support and support. There's an 85 support level there. It's not quite so visible here, but usually every 5 points or so there's support. And then we have the 50-day average. Notice how the 50-day average, the last handful of days. Oh, here we go. I'm like Pavlov's dog. When I hear that bell, my mouth actually waters. I'm excited because there's Moderna, and I have support levels here at the 50-day average, which was resistance during this period here. And so I just think the good news about their drug, all of it says, man, probably Moderna won't drop below 80. So that's my line in the sand, Brandon. So what I want to do is construct a trade that will allow us to make money in the short term anywhere above 80. So that's this game. We do have a manual we could maybe talk about now, I don't know, or at the end, but I have a manual.
I mean, I think this is good because the manual, if you guys have a chance, this manual is absolutely free, and this is something that Mike does for everyone to get. This manual gives you guys an opportunity to learn more about Mike's sniper system. And if you guys go ahead and go grab this, we'll put the link up here on the screen. But if you go grab this manual, you'll be able to follow along a little bit more with what Mike's doing. It's absolutely free. Go pick this bad boy up. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. I think that was a good little spot for that.
Yeah. All right, good. Yeah, because I'm going to move a little faster now because I want to trade the market. Here's the thing on these snipers post news. If you can catch the trades early on in the morning, the first 15 to 30 minutes, there's more premium, meaning you can sell these for more money than you can at 10:30 Eastern, an hour after the market. So we want to move a little faster here, and the manual will help you through, well, will guide you specifically through all the steps I'm about to take. I don't want anybody getting too confused because the manual will walk you through any steps you don't understand here. Once you get it, it's pretty straightforward though. All right, so that's the line in the sand that I want to do. So what I'm going to do now is take you to a little spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet will help orient you as I go through this. So I'm going to look at selling the Moderna 29th of December. Those are the expirations right after Christmas. The 80 put and buy 2 strikes underneath the 78 put. Okay, so that's what I'm going to build now. I'm going to this platform called Thinkorswim, and I'm using a simulated account. I'm not going to take these trades. I'm not going to do any front running. I take the trades in a simulated environment, and that's where I track them. So when I go into Thinkorswim, I've hit trade. That's the stock. I find my expiration, 29th of December, and I look for my strike. So right there, now there may not be anything there, so we've got to kind of dance around a little bit. And that's astounding that there's a $1.29 credit right here, selling the 80 and buying the 78. Now, let me give you the math. This is in the manual as well. So the width of this spread is 2. And these are the credit spread calculations, again, in the manual. You take the width of the spread minus the credit, and that will give you your max risk. So if we're able, and I got to move on this one. This is just sick. $1.28. If I can get $1.28 credit, I got to move, man. This is nuts. That's 178% return on investment. As a pharmaceutical company, I've got to move a little faster. So let me get this filled, and I'm going to try to get filled. Even if I only get $1 or even less, that's still going to be good. I'll try for 6 contracts. And can I get $1.28 for 6 contracts? All right, so here's what I'm exactly doing here. I'm going to sell, and we're going to do this 6 times, 6 contracts of each. Sell the December 29.80, buy the December 29.78 put. All right, now it's at 73 cents. That's more reasonable. Let me get that, or something close to it. And I'm going back to monitor, and now I'm going to monitor. See, now it's dropped to 27 cents. See, it's all that talking, I missed it. So when you do these at the open, then, let's put it at 25 cents. Oops. The credit is 25 cents. Okay, let's try that. That's still good. It's still quite good. Really good, in fact. If I get 25 cents here, that's 14% over this time frame. Now it's at 30. Brandon, let me stop talking and get this filled.
You gotta get this filled. You gotta fill this trade. Let's focus a little bit. And let me talk here while you kind of put this in, because I kind of know how these things work, especially with pharmaceuticals. Sometimes the bid-ask spread is a little bit further away. And it's moving a ton on the open here. And we're only 5 minutes into the trading day, and we've seen spreads as big as $1.28 down to 30 cents, down to 25 cents. I think you'll get this filled about 30 cents. 27. It looks like it's 27 cents spot right now. But right now, it's still, even like you said, even 25 cents is a 14% profit on the trade. And it looks like to be a relatively fast, quick trade, which I love, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's the best when you're able to. I'm going to go for 25 here, see if I can get that. So yeah, you're right. The bid-ask spreads are all over the map. All over the map. I'm going to try for 25 cents credit. It's normal. Yeah, it's absolutely normal to do this. So it's at 25 now. Let me cancel replace this and go for 25.
Yeah, I think that'll
fill. I'll go for 24.
I think it'll fill.
I do too. So now, how low would I go on this? I use the math to tell me. So if I could get 20 cents on this, that's still good. That'll give me an 11% return with mega probability of profit, like really strong probability of profit.
I mean, how many days are you holding this again, Mike? I mean, if we're
This one is,
11.
yeah, this one goes to December the 29th.
Yeah,
Now,
okay. So that's about 15 days, 11% profit. So really good. There you
yeah, it
go.
just gave
Okay.
see what's crazy, as you were pointing out, Brandon. This is a fast game, and another way to think of it is with this great news on Moderna. I don't know if you've ever been fishing when there's a school of fish feeding. You can drop a hook in the water and catch fish without bait, and it's like that. So what I just got filled at is 38 cents, and as Brandon was pointing out, the amount of credit available was all over the map. Slippage is wide. Don't worry about that. Just put a line in the water, and I went for 25 cents, and Thinkorswim simulated gave me 38 cents. I would take this for 20 cents. 25 cents is still a nice return on investment. So just to really wrap this up, Brandon, we just got filled on this one for 38 cents. I would take it as low as 20 cents. Now this is the most important part, and I want to make sure you get this. Loss management. Notice my exits are my loss exit is placed first. That's the first place I look when I place a trade is, what if I'm wrong? That's the first question to answer. And if we're wrong and the stock closes less than the short put at 80, close it. Take your loss and move on. And then the other one is to buy back the spread for 10% of what you originally sold it for. So I got mine for 38 cents. And so I'll put an order in then to close this out for 4 cents, 10% of the original credit. So let's round it up to 4 cents. Put a GTC order in, so that in the instant you can grab 90% of the max credit, take it off, take your risk off the table, and go find another one. And this will keep your hold time around 8 days, based on history. So Brandon, that's an exceptional one, and I'm glad it happened. There's tons of other ones right now, but what do you think, Brandon?
I mean, just watching that, I like how that played out. You put your, just like you said, you put your hook in the water and you got a little bit better fill than I think you normally would have wanted. And I like that closing trade as well, to put the 4-cent trade on. That way, in case anything screwy happens after it gets to a point where you've made 90% of the whole thing, then you're already safe. You're out of the trade. So I really like that. And thanks for putting that trade on. If you guys haven't had a chance, go get Mike's guide. I mean, he explains everything in this guide on what he's doing and why he's making these trades the way he is. So as a final note here, Mike, why don't you tell us what other stocks are just on your radar really quickly? What are you looking at over the next couple weeks?
How much time do we have? Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, let's just do like a few minutes. We're talking like 3 minutes, give or take. How much time? I know.
Look at tech. Tech's at an all-time high. This is an ETF, but tech, all-time high territory. Selling a put spread at 185 for me would be good. Line in the sand at, lower the stocks, you could sell as close as 190, but 185 would be a good, let's call it a safe place to sell. MasterCard, all-time high territory yesterday. So, look, there's the all-time high there from the prior pivot, all-time high on MasterCard, selling underneath. I like 415, give it some room. Visa, kaboom. Both those credit card companies are down. I like Visa selling the 255 maybe, or 250 would be ideal because of the resistance there that's now strong support. What else? Avgo. I put one on this one, Brandon. Yes, on this day here, Avgo came out. They have you've all heard of AI chips, but Avgo has formed a partnership with Caltech, and they're going to build quantum chips. It's the next level. Broadcom, all-time high. I like this one the best, and the trade that I have on from earlier in the week is line in the sand at 1,000. And Brandon, there's many more. You mentioned Bitcoin, excuse me. I like Bitto above 20. Coinbase. Look at Coinbase. Look for support like 130, maybe 30, 140 max. So Brandon, the fish are jumping in the boat right now, and the system is to check the news and make sure there's news behind. So keep an eye on tech. Keep an eye on these stocks I've just mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, those are the ones. And Apple. Oh my God, I almost forgot the most important one. Apple.
No,
Let me show you Apple.
that's okay. You can always forget Apple. I'm okay with that. I'm not an Apple guy.
Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I have.
It's okay. I'm just trying to advance technology in the world.
Apple all-time high. Even today, I like selling a 195 put on Apple. But again, I haven't checked the news on any of these. So ideally, to trade the sniper approach, back it up with news. Maximize your probability. Stacking technicals and news. Sell where you don't think the stock's going to make it to, and snipe. High probability short-term profits. That's this game, Brandon, and it's fun.
Yeah, no, I love your trading style, Mike, and I love all those stocks. I think they're all really good ones to look at, which that means there's just more opportunities coming up for us in the next couple of weeks. And Apple, one thing even though I absolutely disdain and hate the company in every way, one thing I've learned is you never short Apple. So you don't fight against that beast. So that's interesting that you brought that up. But Mike, thank you so much for coming by the show today. We appreciate your feedback. Your insight, as always. Pick up Mike's guide if you guys get a chance. Go over to that. We'll throw that link here up so you guys can go check that out. But Mike, thank you so much, and we will see you next week back here again to go over this week's trade and see what else you're looking at here in the market as we approach Christmas. We'll see you later.